from day one, I remember you were contacting me and let me know what your forecast and what you envision from your relationships in other countries. And it gave us some insight to start moving right away. And you saw that state of California actually moved in front of many states and some of the separation and stay-at-home orders. And I think it really has had an effect, not only have saving lives, but many, many more cases that could have been for our population. And those relationships that you and your company has developed over those 50 years in every nation, in every setting, this is a unique tool and very, very needed. But it's not the first time you have used it for emergencies. It's probably the first time in the world pandemic, but you've responded to earthquakes and fires and those data things, all that. Can you explain a little more what you have, the experiences that Esri has with other disasters, emergencies?
It started here in Southern California with the Northridge quake. It's probably before you were born, right, Kurt?
No, I do remember that, sir.
You do. Well, anyway, we started this idea of a disaster response program where a bunch of our staff we just donated our time and our software to respond to the disaster that happened there. And out of that experience came kind of a pattern. Whenever there's an emergency like 9/11 or Katrina, we basically roll open and support our users doing their work. We're not FEMA, we're not National Emergency Organization or local, but by providing these tools, the organizations who are responsible were able to stand up like we're doing today with the coronavirus. And this one is pretty particular because it's global and we have global customers. We have about 350,000 customers all around the world, one of which is the county of San Bernardino. So you can put it into perspective. Utilities, agencies, businesses, and they're all responding. They're also trying to create business continuity and right now, recover from this. I mean, we're in a horrible stage right now and it's not going away. I think we just sort of have to accept that for a while until a vaccine comes along. The other dimension of this is we now are moving into this economic issue where businesses are just blinking out. So how can we use geography and geographic thinking to target vulnerable businesses, keep them alive? And I know that you and your thinking and your leadership and your colleagues in the county are worried about that and working on it all the time.
No, it's fascinating. And, as you know, I have a couple volunteer roles. One is with the state military department. And the old adage, a picture's worth 1,000 words, really does come into effect in real-time situations where you're deploying resources, deploying manpower, and to have those visualizations on the mapping really helps us a lot. And we use it for emergencies, yes, but we use you on a day-to-day basis, non-emergency too. Let us know some of the applications we use with you in the county when it's a non-emergency time. Like I know we did a great project with the homeless counting and a bunch of other things. When I first came onto the county, one of the most fascinating things is I could click on any parcel of land and find whole layers of information about that land to the county system. So there's a bunch of ways we use you on a day-to-day basis, and to have that visualization really helps.
Well, the county tax assessor is a good example where they really have digitized all the parcels. So anybody who owns property in San Bernardino County, it's transactionally maintained and it's open data and it's open and available for land use planning and environmental planning and all sorts of applications that you know better than I. So in transportation, and it's not just the county, Caltrans, for example, or the county roads, or the fire departments, the sheriffs, they're all using it to map out information. And the beauty about geography is you can integrate all these different layers of data to sort of see the whole, sort of like what your mind does when you sort of walk around and visualize things. It's amazing technology.
It is. I mean, and we came to rely on every department we have now. And even one that we announced today, you may not even be aware that we're utilizing your system. You may be. Our COVID compliance business campaign that came online today at 10 o'clock that allowed the businesses who are doing the right things to be identified by the county. We're going to put a sign in their window that says we're COVID compliant under our health guidelines of wearing masks, physical distancing, sanitation, some other things we put for each industry for those businesses are open, are based on your technology. The mapping part of it's going to be there. So we as residents of the county that are looking to do business with a particular store, but are concerned to go to those stores in our areas, can actually click on the map and find out which ones have been certified by the county as a safe place to go, or safer place, I would say, probably is a better term, because I don't know if we're all safe anywhere we go, but that have followed the guidelines. So we're even using your mapping technology on the way we recover from this virus and as we go forth. But we're using your software even for that underlaying, which is fantastic. It's going to be a great visual aid for someone in the neighborhood to know where to go shopping for their food, where to get their essential services, and what are safe places to go. And that's going to be real time updated as people apply and get certified by the county. So again, we want to thank you for all those tools you give us on a day-to-day basis. It's fantastic.
Yeah, Kurt, as long as we're talking about it, one of the things that we are facing in our county is the digital divide. And this is because kids have to now stay home from school. Some of them have more access to digital connections and other ones don't. So we're working actually in the last week, working with the governor to try to map out those geographies that have internet connection and they tend to be wealthier and invested. But farmer workers, people out in the rural areas, and their kids, and also some of the inner city kids in San Bernardino, they really don't have access to that digital connection. So it's fine for us to say we're going to make a shift, and most of Esri's employees now work from home because we are a digital company. But there are two issues that we need to really think about at the county level. One of them is where do we have the digital divide geographies, and what can we do about it? Targeting, that's a geographic targeting. And the other one is what workers can't work from home. You know, the farmers, the contractors, construction industry, and what can we do to help keep them safe and the rest of us safe, given the fact that they've still got to work in their normal ways, so-called critical work activities. I don't want you to talk about it, but I just
No, we're on the same exact page. We've already been engaged for the last couple of months with Sprint / Verizon and other telecommunication companies to go over their maps. I believe that instead of waiting for these companies to deploy their technology, that the county should partner up with them to everything I believe in the future for governance and for the success of our county is going to be having access to the internet. Doesn't matter if you're a student, if you're a business, whatever the case you may be. We're looking at telemedicine. We're looking at a lot of advances, the way we provide services, remote locations, telegovernment. These are things way before the COVID virus even hit us. So this is an excuse to accelerate those plans and hopefully take this crisis and come away with an infrastructure that can support this, not just during this emergency time period, but that will leave us a much better place going forward. And I know you're doing some work. Esri always does a lot of things with our other college students, and you do so many programs within the county. We're such a blessing to have you here. Can you explain some of those programs with us, what you're doing there as well?
Well, right now we have been donating our software to all the college kids that are unable to go to school. So this is now, in the US, has been about 50,000 students. We've only been running 2 weeks. So that's about a $70 million gift of software out to college kids so they can connect and still do their classes, geography, science, education classes online. That's one thing. But I mean, we're one business. There's lots of businesses that are doing lots of things to try to get us over this hump. It'll take everybody playing together. That's my sort of sense of it.
Well, it's amazing how much you really give back. And I think that's a testament to your work ethic and your DNA ingrained in Esri, because you do and you have been for over 50 years now, giving back as information, and information all empowers us with the right. Hopefully, when I came to you way back when, it's like, I'm a policymaker, but I need data because I need to know where we need to go with correct data. And you help us in many ways, not just from the gifting that Esri does around the world. Like you said, you're up to probably 200 million with the free gifts and COVID virus alone, but also on the critical data you give us. So we spend our resources in the proper areas, matching the data with the need, with the resources is so critical all the time. do you believe back in the 70s you would be here to this point today? I mean, did you have this vision all along of where you're going, or what leads someone like you to develop such an amazing company?
Well, when my wife and I started, we were just a couple kids out of school, and we struggled for a couple of years, like all entrepreneurs do. And we still struggle. We're still working day and night. Uh, we're just a normal business, Kurt. That's something to keep in mind. We use all the private market mechanisms to compete all around the world against our competitors, just like every other business does. We've been very fortunate to, and we're really gifted by having thousands of amazing people, and you've met some of them that work at Esri that are, I mean, really brainiacs or they're very smart, and I like them, and they have a great value. So the purpose of Esri is to serve our customers, and they tell us what we need to do in the way of our product. And then the second purpose is to serve our employees, so it becomes a great place to work. And then the third is to be a good business, make a lot of money so we can afford to do one and two effectively. So just like any entrepreneur, I suppose that's in our county or in our state or in our country, we work hard, we're entrepreneurial, and we have a lot of ambition. One of the distinctions about us is that we also have a social mission, or we make that up in our head. It's just something that we think about. And I think most business people, to be honest, have a public sector mind. They not only want to do great for their own business, but they also want to do good footprints. And these good footprints, I'm just noticing in our region are increasing. And they're fed in part by the government, but also fed by the rich universities in San Marino and Riverside and in Redlands and Claremont that we have that promote and create students that come out with values that are public-minded. They want to make sure we don't screw up the environment, or that we take care of our place, or that we take care of our people, that we try to minimize, inequality in our region, and we have opportunities.
Well, Jack, if the public wants to see some of your handiwork, I know our dashboard is powered by you. I know the World Health Organization, John Hopkins, whichever refers to in all the media stuff. What are some of the other places that you see? The state of California, OES dashboard?
Yeah, OES, state of California, just about every state, just about all the big cities, New York and Washington and Seattle, they're all using it. And I would say it's not us, we just are tool builders, and we're helping our users who actually stand up these dashboards and bring all the data together. They map all the cases, they do the analytics. So right now there's I'm privileged to watch these amazing users that we have do their work. I mean, it just makes me touched. I mean, my colleagues and I work just about around the clock trying to make sure they're supported so that they're right on the edge, they're at the front. I mean, they're not hospital workers, but they're the knowledge workers that are trying to support keeping it in a box and being able to shut this damn thing down.
No, and I appreciate all your team's efforts. I remember last time we saw each other in person was right before it hit the United States. And after our discussion, you brought me into your war room, your think tank, and they were already on it, knew pretty much what was going to happen before I think a lot of us realized how severe it was going to be. And you gave us warning and gave us some premonitions. And from your data collection, it wasn't a crystal ball thing. You were analyzing the data that you saw already. You saw the potential. And I really think you could go to bed at night knowing that you saved many, many thousands of lives here in California, at least, if not around the world, by reflecting that data, having those predictions and projections, and from your team's efforts. So thank you so much. I wanted to kind of conclude this. What's your future look? What do you think we're going with this? What's your vision of the next 10 years, not only for San Bernardino County, but as we start to integrate more of this data going forward?
Well, I believe strongly in geography, the science of our world. I've said that already. It's the mother of all science, and allows us to interconnect virtually all dimensions of human and the natural world. And the reason why I believe in it so strongly is that if we create spatially literate people starting in schools, then I think people will be more sensitive. They'll be more holistic in the way that they approach problem solving, and we'll grow the next generation of children who take care of our place better than we are doing right now. We're going to be faced with a huge crisis after this of climate change and loss of biodiversity, and dealing with, in a way, there's too many people. There's too many of us. We've got to really manage that down in such a way that is human and takes care of our place more effectively. So, about digital natives, this term digital natives, these new kids that they're
Yep.
3 years old, 4 years old, are using their iPhones or whatever better than we are. They're just operating. So what I want to do is create another generation of spatial natives that are kids that grow up being able to understand how to solve problems spatially. This means sort of like designing things so that they all work together, not sort of sectorized, that people look at the whole. So my big ambition is to bring geographic science and knowledge into every organization on the planet. And I will do that using this technology and the internet to get people woken up. So this episode is kind of a warm up for what's coming, where we need to get everybody involved in understanding how we're interconnected, and being able to approach problem solving in more holistic and community and collaborative ways.
No, it's a great vision, and I know you'll get there and help lead us there. And I'm very proud to call Esri home to San Bernardino County and your fantastic staff that's leading the world in this new era that we're going forward. And always pleasure, and feel very honored to have time with you, Jack. I know you're extremely busy. So thank you for everything.